Even from the perspective that the trend of AI is just the beginning and it's still gonna be very huge. So you said that we see that the growth of the AI is increasing here in Indonesia. So which fields or industry are the most popular among Indonesian learners when it comes to AI education?
Yeah, and I'll give you a few examples, right? And it's related to what I said in the first response, which is this is probably the first technology where it is not limited to only people in the tech roles or IT roles. We work with many individuals and organizations and how they use generative AI. In one organization, the marketing team is using generative AI to create marketing campaigns. In the other organization, the sales team is getting trained to do research on their particular industry, their particular set of accounts and clients, so that they are able to come out with better pitches for the clients and for the markets. In the other organization, the HR team is using generative AI for talent development and learning and development.
All sectors.
So it is all sectors. So there was also a report and research done by AWS last year, which looked at which departments will be most benefited through generative AI, and it listed down most of the departments which will be listed across the organization, starting from IT to R&D to sales and marketing, HR, finance, and legal. So it is practically all the departments in the organization which set to benefit from generative AI. And that's why as Coursera, we wanted to support these learners, right? Because not everybody knows what to learn. And we launched Generative AI Academy, which has 3 different pillars based on your learning goal, as well as your the skill that you want to develop, as well as the department that you're in. So first is Generative AI for everyone, which is the basic level of learning for everyone.
Okay.
Which is, I don't know what generative AI is. I want to start knowing what it is before I start applying it. So it's generative AI for everyone, which is basic level of awareness and skilling across the organization. Then generative AI for teams, which is the functional learning.
What's the difference?
Yeah. So individual like you and I first need to know what generative AI is, how I can use in my day-to-day life. Second is, you and I may be in different departments. Like somebody is in HR, they will use generative AI in a different way than somebody who's in legal department, then compared to somebody who's in software development or data team. So the same technology will be used by different people in different functions based on the role that they are performing.
Okay.
So it is making sure that you not only understand the basics of AI, but also understand how do you apply in your day-to-day
job. How to prompt the AI.
Yeah, prompt AI.
Okay.
And the third part, again, very important, is generative AI for executives and leaders. This is again a technology where you won't see a CEO actually coding or doing real thing on technology.
Okay.
But generative AI is something which is used more as a thought partner. So CEOs leverage generative AI to refine their strategy, to know what market they should go in, to do some research. So it's more of a thought partner for everyone to have more informed decisions.
Okay, that's interesting. So we're talking about the challenges right now. So what are the main challenges faced by Indonesian in learning AI? Is there any specific that difference us with the other learners from the other countries? Or it's basically like the same?
Yeah, I mean, there are some common challenges that we see across any developing nation, any nation which is ambitious, and any nation which is large as Indonesia. First challenge is digital divide, right? Not everybody has a laptop, not everybody has an iPad, not everybody has the connectivity all the time and great internet speed. So that's the first challenge. Second, even if you have the infrastructure, you may not have access to top quality content source, right? Not everybody can go to a top university. Not everybody has works in a large organization. Even if you are working there, you may not know what content and course to take because there's huge amount of content available on the internet. So that's the second challenge. The third challenge that we feel is around the curriculums. So if you look at any university, and it's not the challenge not limited to Indonesia, but worldwide. If you look at any university, the higher education system is arranged according to academic disciplines, but the outside world is arranged according to skills. And the curriculums don't change for years, while the outside world changes every year. You did not have generative AI 2 years ago, while somebody who enrolled in an engineering course or any other course 4 years ago would still study something which was designed many, many years ago. So the third challenge is around the basic education where the curriculums do not change. And fourth is language. Like many other Asian countries, English is not the first language or primary language where people understand. And these are some of the challenges that we see in Indonesia.
Okay, so how does Coursera help to address these challenges?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing for us to look at is when you look at learning or skill building, there should be a desire to learn, right? Okay. And we see that in Indonesians. So there's huge amount of desire to learn and upskill themselves, so that's taken care of. Now we look at the challenges which are in the market. So first is access to digital infrastructure. Yeah. Even if you don't have a laptop, even if you don't have an iPad, learners can learn on Coursera mobile app. And we see in Indonesia, almost 46% of the learners use mobile app to learn. So if you have a good connectivity at one point of time, you can download the content on the app. And then while you're traveling in your car, in a bus or a train, you can learn offline. And once you get back to an area where you have good connectivity, it will automatically sync from the time you left. So that solves the problem for the connectivity and having the digital infrastructure. Okay. Second is not having access to top sources of content. If you're in a tier 2 city, if you're not in Jakarta, or if you're not in Surabaya, you don't have access to best universities or top companies. And we are trying to solve that problem because irrespective of your location, irrespective of your age, we make the same content available. So whether you're in New York, London, Singapore, or Jakarta, or any tier 2 city or tier 3 city, you get the same access to the content which anybody else across the world gets. Okay. So the same access to the content. Related to the content is not knowing what to learn, right? Yeah. You have a lot of content, but if you take wrong course, it will not yield the right results for you. So what we want to do and what we have started to do is create learning paths depending on your role, which is easier for anybody to just follow the instructions and learn the guided path which is already created on Coursera platform. And also there are challenges when you actually learn, and we had seen in the past, you don't know who to ask. If you're taking a course or if you don't have a guide or a coach. And we now have a generative AI, an AI coach available for a learner all the time while you're learning. Okay. So for example, if I'm learning about AI, I may ask, hey, I'm a healthcare professional. Why should I learn AI? How will it help me in my profession as a banker or as a nurse or as a doctor? The AI coach will give you a response.
That's